Welcome to the next episode of Greater Cape Ann Highlights, a segment presented in partnership with the Greater Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce and ICAM. My name is Olivia Perez-Odes, Director of Community Relations at the Greater Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce. In this segment, we're going to take you with us as we meet Betsy Frost of Betsy Frost Design and Camille Murphy of Coldwell Banker. Today we are here with Betsy Frost of Betsy Frost Design, and we're going to learn more about her business. But first, if you could please introduce yourself.
Yep. My name's Betsy Frost. I opened Betsy Frost Design Studio and Gallery a little over 5 years ago. I'm basically a jewelry designer. That's what I love to do, and I've been doing it for 25 years. So that's what I bring to the table, is primarily my jewelry.
Awesome. And could you tell us a little bit about your journey in becoming a designer and small business owner?
Sure. So basically all I've ever really wanted to do is make jewelry. And so I kind of traveled for a while, went to college, got a degree in psychology. My dad wanted me to be a surgeon, but finally at age 30 I went to Mass Art and got a degree in metals, and just got right into business after I got my degree. And so that was 25 years ago. I designed a line of jewelry, went to the New York Gift Fair. That was my first show. I never tried a Christmas bazaar or anything. I just dove right into the New York Gift Show, which is a show where I have a booth and I'm selling to other stores that are buying my jewelry. And it was gangbusters from the get-go. So I did that for 20 years. And at one point I was selling probably in 150 stores.
Wow.
And so I have about 690 molds. So that's 690 silver designs. So I have a ton of designs. And that led itself perfectly to opening the shop. So about 5 years ago, a lot of galleries that I was selling my jewelry to started closing. A lot of the gallery owners were older. Having the internet was tough. People were buying jewelry online. So my wholesale business, selling to other stores, kind of flatlined. So I decided maybe I'd take a venture into having a retail store. A lot of people had suggested to me, but I was waiting for this location.
And could you talk a little bit more about that? What was it about this location that made you want to open your business here?
Sure. This is by far my favorite location in Ipswich. I don't know why. Every time I came into the store, it just seemed bright and airy, and it was always some sort of gallery. I love the hardwood. I love all the glass. But I always thought the rent would be crazy expensive. I also am kind of a loner, not really ever thought I'd have a retail store. I never was like, I want a store. So I hedged for a while, but this was Gifts for Soul, and Lisa, who owned it, she texted me and she said this space was going to be available and that I should just talk to the landlord. And so I spoke to him. Turns out the rent wasn't overwhelming, and he let me have my dogs in the shop, and that sealed the deal. And so I opened up for business in November of 2015. No, 16. 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah. So we're in our sixth year. So.
And I remember because we did a ribbon cutting for you this past fall, and it was great. Could you talk a little bit about how the community has embraced you?
Sure. So when I first opened my store, I was worried that my store was going to be too fancy for downtown Ipswich. So I kind of was strategic, and I put all my lowest price point pieces in the front, and tried to keep the other items in the shop very affordable. So slowly people started coming in and they realized it wasn't just a fancy jewelry store. And so I think word caught on. I started doing Ipswich themed things as well, and kind of became a yes woman if someone said, hey, you should carry some of this pottery, I'd say, sure. Or just carry someone local. I've always been very receptive to the needs of the community. And it's still, though, keeping it fresh and fun. So the community has been amazing.
Could you talk about your process of, the creation of a piece of jewelry, but also how you curate some of your other items, like the Ipswich themed items and some clothing?
Sure. Well, I'm a very hands-on designer. I usually get an idea and just roll with it. I usually design a piece of jewelry either in wax or in sterling, and I create a model. And then I have casters. I send them my perfect model, and they make a mold of it. And then I'll say cast 100 of, say this ring in sterling, and they bring it back to me. And I know Seamus took some videos of our studio here, but we sand up the pieces and we bring up the fine silver and we make them sparkly and gorgeous and size and add stones and chains. And so that's kind of the process. Design-wise, that's my favorite thing. I get inspired by anything around me. Sometimes I don't even realize the inspiration until after it's designed. And then I also design based on need. I came out with the Castle Hill collection, and it was a dream come true for a designer because they said, go up to the castle and get inspired and make us something. I mean, it was a dream come true. So I created the Castle Hill Sunburst Medallion, which is back here. And then actually, for a designer, it was so fun then I cut out the middle of that medallion, then I cut out the star in that medallion, and then I cut out the middle of the star. So now there's 4 separate designs from that original piece that's created a full collection. And I usually try to end up making it be a collection. I'm definitely a bracelet lover, and I usually design the bracelet first, and then I'm like, all right, earrings, pendant, that's just like accessories to the crime. But, and then I love curating the shop. If anyone who comes here knows, it changes every day because I'm never happy enough with what I've got going on. But I can't take full credit. I have an amazing staff that have just a genuine talent for blending my jewelry with other pieces, and so that's a joy to having a retail store that I never thought I would be involved in, and I'm really enjoying it.
Awesome.
So.
And who do we have here?
This is Misha. Misha's 8 years old. She's part of the Service Dog Project. I own the mommies of all the puppies. She's had about 34 puppies, and most of them have been trained and given them away as mobility service dogs. I think you'll end up filming Scarlett as well. Scarlett's her mom, and Scarlett's had about the same amount of puppies as well. And they're wonderful mascots in the shop.
When people walk in and see the dogs, do they just fall in love with them?
So what's hilarious is when people walk by, they see the dogs, and then they come in and say hello. But sometimes people walk right in the door, walk right by the dogs, shop, and then maybe Misha will like move, and they'll be like, oh my God, I thought there were statues. So it's very hit or miss.
Yes.
But they're well received. I've had about 3 people over the last 5.5 years that have walked in, and they've been like, nope, I'm leaving. But for the most part, they're a great addition to the shop. They're such a good buffer.
Yeah.
They put everyone at ease. So
Dogs do that.
yes.
So what's coming up new and exciting this year for Betsy Frost Designs?
So this is perfect timing for this interview. On August 7th, 1997, I started my business. And so this is my 25th year in business. And so we're going to do a big celebration here in the shop. I'm going to rework all the collections and hopefully number the collections. People find it really interesting if they buy, for example, the heart. That's my design number 29. But say the Castle Hill, that's design number 630. So people just think it's kind of cool, like, oh, I've design number 74. So we're going to play with that. We're going to organize the collections. I have a mentor, and she came in the shop, and she was like, who's Betsy Frost? how come there's not, like, we don't know who designed this.
Yeah.
So we're going to celebrate Betsy Frost Design a little bit more with the 25th anniversary. So there'll be a little more signage that talks about that a lot of this jewelry is from someone named Betsy Frost. So
That's amazing, and congratulations.
Thank
That's a
you.
huge milestone.
thank you.
I guess to talk about your beginnings, what small businesses in the area have inspired you?
So again, I never thought I'd own a store. But I live all the way on the other side of town. But when I'd come to town, my favorite spot by far was Zoomies. And I just, reading in the paper, Umesh is such a big part of the community. And so actually when I opened my shop, I went to Umesh and I said, listen, I want to be like you. I want a store. I want to embrace the community in a way that you have. And if you have any advice. And he looked at me and said, say yes to everything. Get involved. Don't say no. And enjoy it. And so he's checked in with me a few times. I think he thinks I'm doing it okay. But he's definitely such a mentor figure to me. So.
And definitely a pillar business along with yours, downtown Ipswich. So
Thanks. Yeah. It's been great. It's been great. I'm not going anywhere.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess if you have to think 5 years ahead, where do you see yourself in the business?
So I feel that, believe it or not, at age 57, I've almost hit my stride. This is the perfect balance of being a designer, a shop owner. I really enjoy purchasing all the other products in the shop. I enjoy my staff. So I think I'm just going to sit tight and keep at what I'm doing. I'm from Vermont originally. I would love to end up in Vermont one day, but I have 2 kids in college, and so maybe that retirement. So I'm on you'll see me until I'm at least 65, and then you might see a little satellite Betsy Frost Design shop in Vermont somewhere. But I'm not going anywhere. Hoping to just grow my designs, stay a part of the community, and stay happy.
And so for everyone at home, how can they learn more about you? Your website,
Yep,
Instagram?
I have a full website, betsyfrostdesign.com. I have an amazing social media person, Paula Sawyer of Lola Wesley Marketing. She's also in the chamber. She does my Instagram, and she shares my Instagram posts with my Betsy Frost Design Facebook page. I also have a personal Betsy Frost Design Facebook page, which isn't as salesy, but still a lot about when I'm designing jewelry. I do ads in the paper. I do ads in North Shore Magazine. So I'd say that. But the definite go-to should probably be my website. So.
Well, perfect. Well, we know where we're going for all of our gift needs, our birthday needs. Just if you want a piece of jewelry, it's Betsy Frost Designs. Thank you so much, Betsy.
Thank
it was
you.
wonderful to learn more about your business and your journey and your babies, your dogs. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We are here today with Camille Murphy, Realtor of Coldwell Banker. Welcome, Camille.
Hi, Olivia. Nice to be here with you. Thanks for taking the time to come visit.
Yes, thank you. So just to get us started, could you please tell us a bit about yourself and your professional background?
Sure. I live here on Cape Ann. I've been here for about 5 years. I came from like the Winchester, Lexington area. I've been a realtor for 14 years now. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that out loud. I've been in professional sales my whole life, kind of like consultative sales with Pfizer as a pharmaceutical rep. I've worked at Bain & Company in market research, and I worked in Fidelity Investments and Marketing too. So I've always been in sales.
Very nice. And what inspired you to get involved or become a realtor?
Well, the honest answer is I was a mom that I needed a flexible job, but I could have picked a lot of different professions, I'm sure. I was always intrigued with home ownership and houses, decorating, things like that. And I just think like, owning a house is still, it's getting harder to achieve, but it's the American dream. And it's a big part of the fabric of our society to own something.
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty exciting.
Yes. And what aspect of the real estate business are you most passionate about?
So my passion is getting the house ready so that the photos look really, really good online.
Could you talk a little bit about that process? Getting, yes.
Yeah, I have a staging background. I actually have a warehouse full of all my own furniture because that's how passionate I feel about it. I've collected some nice pieces that, kind of resemble, if you will, Pottery Barn, Crate and Barrel, things like that, because that seems to be the look that is neutral, but a majority of the buyers out there today are millennials, and 67% of the market of the buyers are millennials. So they like that look, the Pottery Barn, Crate and Barrel, that clean, modern, but not too contemporary look. So one of the first things we do is I go in and look at the home after I've gotten the listing contract and tell the homeowners what they have to do room by room, whether it's decluttering, depersonalizing, maybe a rug is too busy, the pattern's too busy, and it's not going to show well in the pictures, or it's going to make the room look small, or it's too big and it won't show the beautiful hardwood floors, because that's all we're trying to do is show the features of the house. So we try to neutralize it with the colors, the decor and the furniture and stuff to just try to make it appeal to a wider array of people. Because some houses will appeal to, young families, some people just starting out, and some empty nesters. Some of them appeal to all three. Maybe it's a ranch, and because it's single level living and it's smaller, it'll appeal to all those demographics. So how can we make the furnishings look the most neutral so that all three of those groups will put an offer in, and you'll get a better price and better terms.
Could you talk a little bit about pricing?
Yes, pricing is the buzzword these days, because as we all know, things have happened in the last few months. I think since middle of July, things started to happen. Pricing is one of the first steps when you get a listing, because it's so important as to how you're going to price it, because that dictates how you're going to position it in the marketplace. And so a lot of things go into pricing: the condition of the home, first of all, the goals, the financial goals of what the seller wants. Do they still have to pay off a mortgage? Are they looking to buy a bigger home with this money that they get from that? And then the other thing too is, what the market will bear, because even though it's still a seller's market, the buyers ultimately drive the market with the price. So if you use the technique where, okay, we price it at, it's worth, we come up with comps that maybe say it's worth in the sevens, but strategically we price it at $6.99 to get as many people in as possible, and then those that really want it will take it up to where it needs to go in the sevens. That's one strategy. The other thing with pricing too is you could have a great house, move-in condition, you did all the staging, the colors, all that, and you price it, and then somebody down the street comes on the same day that yours is coming on the same open house weekend, and they price it a little less, and everybody goes to that one. So we really don't tweak the price until, you have a general idea, but you don't tweak it till probably the day or two before it goes on, because you want to be competitive with others, because the inventory, yes, it's low, but people have all this information that I'm talking to you about. They all have it online. They all do their homework before they go out, or their agent does the homework for them. So you can't pull the wool over anybody's eyes and say, well, we're going to get this because we think it's worth, our house is great. You can't do that. So.
And going into another direction, what is the current market in Greater Cape Ann right now?
Okay. Well, I've always looked at these. These are, you got to look at them a couple of weeks, but they only give you quarterly in MLS. I thought you had asked what the median single family price home is. All right. So in Essex County, now this is the second quarter, which is what? May, June, July, or May, June, something like that. But it doesn't include the second half of July, which was when things really started to change. So the median single home price in Essex County is $660, and that's up 4.8%. Okay. Another good number people like to know is what is the average days on market that it takes to get an offer on a house, not to close, but to get the offer, and that's 21. Okay. The other number that's nice is, we call it absorption rate, and that's how much inventory is out there for the current pool of buyers that are out there. And right now, there's about 1.1 months worth of supply, again, in Essex County. I'm going to connect the dots for you on that and for the viewers at home. It's still a seller's market. When it starts to move towards 3 to 6 months worth of inventory, that's when it's starting to become a buyer's market. So now would be a crucial time if you're thinking of listing to put it on, because rates are still relatively low. They're a little bit less than 6% the last time I checked, like a traditional 30-year mortgage, although you can get more specifics from that depending on what you're doing. And there's still a lot of pent-up demand out there because the inventory is still low. We've got a couple of years to catch up with the inventory because we have so many buyers out there. You know, on average, it's costing somebody $500 to $700 more a month with these new interest rates. And that has pushed a lot of buyers out. So it's also a good time for buyers right now because you're not seeing the lines down the street to get in houses. We're seeing multiple offers in certain situations, but not all houses are going in a weekend like they did, you know. But so that's a little bit of the background there. And I just, you know, took the liberty, we can put these up later on in graphics, but again, second quarter median sales price for Gloucester was $625, down 5.3%. Essex was $877,500, way up 13.6%. That was the biggest increase. Manchester, who's like in a little bubble over there, 1.1 million was the median price, up 2.3%. They've had no single family houses like to speak of in the last 2+ years. So I think that's what drove the prices up, because when something comes on, there are still big doors over there. Ipswich, 863,759, that's up 6.9. And Rockport, is 890K is their median sales price, and that's down 11.2. I was kind of surprised to see that one though, because I thought the prices had maintained, but I guess they were closer to $1 million plus in Rockport. So those are the numbers. Some people like numbers. There they are.
Well, thank you so much for running those numbers. With this information, what advice would you give to a first-time home buyer looking to purchase a home in these communities?
It's always good to be prepared with your financing, with your credit score, and, you know, have a good realtor that's going to coach you on how to write a good offer so that you stand head and shoulders above everybody else. It's not always about price, where it's still a seller's market. It's about terms. Do your homework at the open house and see when they're looking to close, so you put a good date on that offer form and not just a date that works for you. You know, what kind of financing you want. There are mortgage companies out there now that can make you look like a cash buyer. And by that, all they do is they do all the paperwork up to a point before they go into underwriting, so that there's just a couple of steps left and they know that you're going to get your financing quickly. There's a lot of houses that have come back on the market in the last few months because, you know, things changed with the interest rates, and people that thought they could get the financing all of a sudden have to back out of the deal because they don't get their financing commitment. And that's sad for the buyers, but it's tough for the sellers too, because they've had the house off the market for a few weeks and then they have to put it back on, and sometimes that leads to a reduction for the seller. So not a win-win for everybody on that one.
So we are here today in Gloucester at the Coldwell Banker Gloucester office. Could you talk a little bit about why you chose to work at this company and what makes Coldwell Banker different in terms of, or a difference between other real estate companies?
Sure. I think I have a pretty good understanding of that too, because I've worked for 4 or 5 other agencies in my time. And the reason I liked Coldwell Banker, again, you know, there's a lot of really good agents on Cape Ann. And I think the thing that sets everybody apart when you're selling your house, or if you're a buying agent, but the selling thing is what, you know, I like to focus on, because it comes down to the tools that you have. Because everything is so internet driven today, it's really all about the marketing when you're going to sell your house. You know, gone are the days where we took a few pictures and, you know, described it and threw it on the market. You know, I try to tell people very gently now when I go talk to them about the staging that, you know, the minute you call me up, your house, you know, is no longer your house. It's a product, and it's my job to merchandise it. And I'm going to ask you some difficult things to do that are time consuming and hard, but I'm asking you those because I don't want you to leave any money on the table. This is your biggest asset. That's how you really have to look at your house. It's like your 401k. And in many instances today, it is for people that are getting ready to retire in golden years or whatever. It's their biggest asset, and they need that money to, live out the rest of their life. So the thing that sets Coldwell Banker apart from some of the others is the marketing that we do. We actually have a program called Real Vitalize. And if you know that you need some paint and the hardwood floor is done over and the electrical needs to be updated, we have a program called Real Vitalize that we can do certain things for sellers without them putting the money up front. And then when we sell the house, it gets taken out of that. So somebody that really wants to sell their house, but maybe they don't think they can get top dollar because they don't have the cash to do all the improvements, we have programs in place that will help them with that. So that's step number one. Once that's done, we have an ad agency, a marketing agency that we work with, that we bring in a professional photographer with professional equipment to take beautiful magazine quality photos. And people are really impressed when they see the photos. But then we take it a step further, and we have a whole marketing plan that we put in place with electronic media. We have a YouTube channel, and the property goes on that. We have a single address website just for that house. So if you Google 123 Main Street, Gloucester, your house is going to come up. We have an email campaign. We send out information to all the other realtors in the area, which is really important because ultimately they will sell the house with the buyers. We put it in the Boston Globe or Boston Magazine. So we do print, which to certain demographics, they still read the newspaper and the magazines. So we cover all the marketing outlets that we can to maximize exposure, on top of the fact that we're international. So it will go to websites around the world. So it's kind of an overwhelming process, but it's effective. In the Essex County, we get like 13% more for our properties that we use this program for than any other. So pretty good.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. Could you let the viewers at home know how to get in touch with Coldwell Banker and you?
Sure. Yep, Coldwell Banker on the Cape Ann area. We have an office in Manchester, Gloucester. I'm out of the Beverly office, which I know is not Cape Ann, but it's kind of the hub area. If you want to call me, again, my name is Camille Murphy, and it's 781-775-9036. I live right in Magnolia, so I am local, and I'm always available. And I would welcome any real estate questions you have. You just want to know how much your largest asset is worth. That's another thing that we do complimentary. We'll come in and let you know what your house is worth, like in this, slice of time. And that's a service that we do for the community because everybody wants to know what their home is worth, especially now. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much,
No,
Camille.
thank you for your time.
You've opened my eyes and increased my knowledge for home buyers.
That's good.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I hope you'll go check out Betsy Frost Designs and Camille Murphy of Coldwell Banker. If you're interested in being featured in an upcoming episode, please contact me at olivia@capeannchamber.com. I'll see you next time.